Alright, fellas, I gotta keep it real with you. I think it's time I admit something about this fight, okay? In the first video I made about RDR versus Robert Whittaker, I was definitely riding the high a little bit. I mean, come on, man. RDR just ran through Bo Nickel, right? Dude looked like a monster, double champ, slick grappling, finishing everyone, okay? I got caught up in it. I'm kind of a fan of the dude, I won't lie, but I gotta step back a little bit, you know? I gotta be less biased, you know, watch more tape, and I did. I really sat with it, man. I gotta be honest. This fight with Whittaker, I don't think it's gonna be close. I'm leaning hard towards Rob. I think Whittaker just has too much experience, too much composure, and stylistically, he's a nightmare matchup for De Ridder. I'm calling it right now. Whittaker's most likely gonna get the job done. But in the same time, I have to say this. Rob needs to win this fight. He cannot afford to lose, okay? Because Robert Whittaker is walking into a fight with a lot on the line, in my opinion. And yeah, I get it. People love him. He's a former champ. He's respected. But this ain't just another fight. This is one of those legacy check moments. I mean, let's look at his recent run. He got stopped in the second round by Dricus du Plessis, bounced back with a strong decision win over Paulo Costa, then he starched Ikram in a short notice fight in one of the cleanest knockouts of his career. Vintage Rob. But then he got submitted by Khamzat Chimaev in the first round, and now here we are. So yeah, he's 2-2 in his last 4, but the issue is, how is he losing? These aren't just tight decisions, these are finishes. That's what's making people start asking questions. And I'm not saying that Rob's washed. I mean, far from it. I'm really not. But you know how this sport is. It's brutal when it comes to momentum. You lose another one here, especially to someone like Reinier de Ridder, and suddenly the conversation changes. Now, on the flip side, if Rob gets out there and handles RDR, that changes everything. It proves that he's still elite. It shows that Khamzat's loss wasn't the beginning of his downfall. It was just a tough night after fighting a tough killer like him. Because let's not kid ourselves, okay? De Ridder is no slouch. Dude was a double champ in one. He's got that slick grappling. He just ran through Bo Nickel. I'm telling you right now, this is not an easy fight. A win here, that's a big statement. So yeah, it's not do or die, but it kind of is when you're trying to hold on to that top tier status. If Rob wants to stay in that title mix, if he wants to keep proving that he's still one of the best middleweights of this era, this is the fight to show it. Not win by a grindy split decision. Not with a hesitant performance, with a clear, definite W. Because if he drops this one, you already know how fans are. They'll start with, maybe he was never that good, or he's on the way out. And that would suck, because Rob still got it, man. But he's got to show it. This is the fight that keeps the door open. Alright, man. And here's the thing. A huge reason why I'm leaning towards Robert Whittaker in this fight is honestly pretty simple. The dude's a veteran, like a real crafty vet. We're talking about a guy who's gone to war with killers like Yoel Romero twice, Izzy, Cannonier, Vittori, etc. He's been tested in every way possible. And that kind of experience, you can't teach that. You survive those kind of fights, you learn how to deal with pressure, timing, awkward styles, all of it. And that's why I just trust him way more heading into this matchup. Now, stylistically, bro, this is a nightmare for De Ridder. Whittaker is going to have the striking advantage. That's clear. But I also think he's going to have the speed advantage and probably the footwork advantage too. And his blitzes, dude, man, those in and out bursts, they're still some of the cleanest in the division. He's going to be darting in, landing that jab or that lead hook, maybe even mixing it in with a head kick, and then bouncing out before RDR can even react. I see Whittaker tagging him early and often. And listen, I know De Ridder has been talking about becoming more of a striker now, saying things like, F Jiu-Jitsu, I'm a striker now. That's a cool headline, but let's keep it real. From what we saw, he's still super hittable. Like, bro, I watched RDR almost get knocked out by GM3. GM3, and shout out to GM3. Absolute dog. I got a ton of respect for him. But if you're getting rocked by Gerald straight left, man, Whittaker is going to have a field day with you, okay? But even with all that said, there's one part of this matchup that still makes me a little nervous. And I've brought it up before, even in my last video. I still stand on it. My biggest fear in this fight is somehow RDR finds a way to close the distance. If he's able to do that, early and turn this into a clinch heavy fight, that's where things can really start to shift. Because look, man, Reinier de Ridder is legit in the clinch. It's not just brute strength. He's got that tall control frame and he knows how to use it. You watched the fight against Bo Nickel. The dude was textbook. overhooks, wrist control, head pressure, tight position, and from there, he just started unloading knees to the body, breaking guys down slowly. He doesn't need you to take you down right away. He makes you carry his weight, smothers your output, pulls your posture down, and before you know it, you're stuck playing his game. And yeah, I know Whittaker has solid takedown defense, no doubt about it, but clinch work is different. In space, Rob is great. He's reactive, quick, he's got great hips, but when he's pinned against the cage, when he's got a dude like RDR dragging on his arms and his ribs and just grinding him down, that's when it gets a bit dicey. That's the part that worries me. If de Ridder can get that position early and start landing those body shots and control the fight from the clinch, it's gonna wear on Rob. Not just physically, but mentally. Because let's be real here, Whittaker doesn't respond to adversity the same way he's used to. We saw it in the Dricus fight. As soon as the momentum shift, Rob just crumbled. Same thing with Hamzat. When he's not in control, when the fight slips away, even from a little bit, he starts to mentally check out. But here's the thing, it doesn't stop at the clinch. That's just the entry point. Once de Ridder gets close, the real danger starts when he drags the fight to the ground. And that's where things go from uncomfortable to straight up terrifying for Whittaker, because Reinier de Ridder's ground game, it's legit. We're not talking about a guy who just lays on top and stalls up, rounds and stuff. We're talking about a dude with high-level BJJ and judo credentials. A guy with 13 career submissions. And someone who's proven fight after fight that once he gets on top, he knows exactly what to do. It's kind of suffocating top control that doesn't just drain you, it demoralizes you. Go back and watch what he did to Kevin Holland. Once he got him down, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't methodical, it was tight pressure, quick passes, and boom, rear naked choke. And it was clean. Then there's the Bo Nickel fight, RDR beat Bo in the clinch, and then transitioned to the ground, and just made him look like a regional level grappler. He was controlling with one overhook, landing knees, and eventually broke him down completely, with positions and body shots. And look man, Whittaker has good takedown defense, no doubt about it, but it's mostly reactive. It works best when he's dictating the range and tempo. When a guy like RDR forces you into the clinch and starts chaining trips or judo style tosses, that's where the wall starts closing in. You're not sprawling out in space anymore, you're defending in tight, and that's why de Ridder thrives. That's what makes the whole thing tricky. If RDR gets the takedown, if he starts working from top position, whether it's full mount, half guard, or back control, Rob's gonna have to survive hell, because Reinier isn't that kind of guy that just holds position. He advances, he hunts submissions, he lands some strikes while doing it, and mentally, that's the kind of fight that can be exhausting, especially for a guy like Whittaker, who's shown signs that when the fight starts slipping away, he doesn't always dig deep. Sometimes he just checks out. And here's another thing that kind of scares me about this fight, man. And I hate to say it, but Rob's chin has been a bit of a question mark. Like, we've seen it. He's been having those amazing performances when he's just straight up outclassing guys for, 5 rounds, super technical, great footwork, clean striking. But then out of nowhere, boom, he gets clipped. And yeah, most of the time he eats it, he shakes it off, and gets right back to work like nothing happened. But other times, he doesn't. We've seen him get dropped. We've seen him get finished. So when I look at a guy like RDR, who's more of a grappler, but also kind of unpredictable and awkward on the feet, I can't lie. I could see him landing something sneaky for some reason, and that scares the fuck out of me. It's not the most likely outcome, but it's not the most likely outcome, I'll admit. But Rob getting caught, it's not impossible. And that's what makes this fight feel kind of dangerous. We've seen it before, so let's not act like it's off the table. If Robert Whittaker wants to win this fight, and I mean really win this fight, make a statement, shut the door on surgical force like Reinier de Ridder, then there's a very specific type of performance he needs to deliver on. This isn't just about landing a few good shots or defending a few good takedowns. It's about composure, control, and discipline, and staying locked in from the start to finish. For Rob, it starts with one word: distance. Whittaker absolutely has to control the distance in this fight. He cannot afford to get lazy, get comfortable, or let the fight drift into a close quarter, because if it does, that's where things start tilting heavily in RDR's favor. But out in space, that's Rob's territory. That's where he can operate with freedom, where he can manage range, with his jab, keep RDR from feeling safe, and score with those quick blitz, he's known for. The jab in particular is going to be a key here. Rob's got that sharp, educated jab. He can use it not just to land, but to disturb rhythm, to blind, to force reactions. If he starts snapping RDR's head back with that thing, it's going to force hesitation. That hesitation is gold. It opens up leg kicks, body kicks, and even high kicks. All the things that Whittaker uses to chip away and eventually break guys down. But jabbing alone isn't enough to win this fight. The movement has to be there. Rob's footwork is what's going to make this whole game click. We've seen him at his best when he's light on his feet, consistently switching angles, bouncing in and out, making reads, and just creating chaos. Not in a reckless way, but in a calculated way. Layered, a veteran way. Against RDR, that movement becomes more than just a tool. It becomes a shield. The second he stands for too long, the second he lets himself get caught on the fence or squared up, he's inviting RDR to crash in, tie him up, and start grinding. Because here's the thing, man. Reinier de Ridder isn't some basic wrestler with a single leg. This dude is smart, suffocating, and relentless. And when he gets his hands on you, the clinch is one of his best weapons. It's where he starts to lean on you, drag you around, take your balance, and sap your energy. He'll use any overhook on one arm, wrist control on the other, drive his head in your chin, and just start pulling you out of your comfort zone. And when you try to circle out or fight for underhooks, he's transitioning, he's dropping levels, and suddenly you're fighting takedowns from a terrible position. And once it hits the ground, man, it gets dark fast. RDR's ground game is no joke. He's not just advancing position, he's smashing through half guard, he's flowing over the hips, he's attacking the back, the neck, the arms. He's always threatening and always calm while doing it. That's what makes him so dangerous. You could be defending a choke, think you're safe, and then boom! He's on your back, isolating a limb, and he's big, he's strong, rangy guy for that weight class. He makes you carry him, and that pressure builds up round by round. So when we talk about what Whittaker needs to do, it's not about what happens in the first 5 minutes. It's about dialing in for the next 25 minutes. Every second matters. If Rob wins the first round, he can't let his foot off the gas. If he stuffs the takedown or escapes a bad spot, he can't breathe easy. He has to stay control, keep the tempo, and never let RDR get his momentum. Because once the momentum shifts, once Whittaker's rhythm gets interrupted, that's when the cracks start to form. We've seen it before. The Dricus Duplessis fight comes to mind. Rob looked good early, but the second Dricus started turning into a scrap, the second Rob got clipped and had to adjust on the fly. He lost the composure. Same thing with Hamza. Once the fight started slipping away from him, it didn't feel like he had the same fire to call back. He looked mentally checked out, and that part of Rob's game that I think is underrated when we talk about his recent losses. It's not that he lost his skill. The skills are there. The technique is still clean, but the mental edge that he had during his title run, that grit, that refusal to break, it hasn't been showing up. So yeah, it's a tough fight. It's not a walk in the park, but it's a winnable fight. Very winnable for Whittaker. He just has to stay in space, dictate the rhythm, deny the clinch, and never let RDR get comfortable. He has to treat every exchange like it matters, because it does. In a fight like this one misstep, one lazy moment could be the difference between winning a decision and getting finished. And honestly, I think Whittaker knows that. I think he understands what's at stake here. This isn't just about beating de Ridder, it's about proving that he's still here, that he's still a top tier middleweight, that the last couple stumbles didn't define him. And if he comes in with that mindset, that old school Rob, the one that took out Jacare, who went 10 rounds with Romero, who bounced back from adversity with fire in his chest, if that Whittaker shows up, then he's definitely going to win.